I wasn't supposed to be at that party.
Not really.
It was one of those corporate gatherings, the kind where men loosen their ties and women sip wine a little too fast. Jessica had insisted on going alone, saying it was a networking thing. I had agreed, half distracted, thinking about the weekend trip we had planned. But something gnawed at me. Lately, she had been distant. Smiling less, keeping her phone close. I'd catch her staring into space, lost in thoughts she wouldn't share. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 4. I knew her rhythms, her habits. Something was off. So at the last minute, I went. The party was in full swing when I arrived. Laughter, clinking glasses, and low jazzy music filled the air. I scanned the crowd, looking for Jessica. And then I saw her. My heart stopped. She was in the far corner, tucked away near a dimly lit bar. In his arms, a man, tall, well-dressed. A hand resting on the small of her back, pulling her close. Her body molded into his as if they belonged. She wasn't just standing there. She was leaning into him, laughing. Her eyes locked onto his like he was the only person in the room. Like I had never existed. I couldn't breathe. Everything inside me screamed to march over, to tear them apart, to demand answers. But I didn't. I walked out. I don't even remember the drive home. My hands were gripping the steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles turned white. I sat in the dark, replaying the image in my head over and over. Maybe it wasn't what it seemed. Maybe I had imagined it. Maybe. No. I knew what I saw. The way she leaned into him, her fingers brushing against his wrist, the soft intimacy in her gaze. I should have been angry. Furious. But all I felt was numb. At 2 a.m., the front door creaked open. She was home. I didn't move. Just listened. The rustling of her coat. The soft patting of her heels against the floor. A sigh. Then silence. She didn't come to our bedroom. Didn't check if I was awake. Instead, I heard the faint shuffle of her settling onto the couch. Like a stranger in her own home. I turned onto my side, staring at the shadows on the wall, feeling the weight of everything unspoken down on me. When I finally emerged from the bedroom, she was sitting at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee in her trembling hands. Her eyes were swollen. Red-rimmed. She had been crying morning, I said, my voice flat. She flinched at the sound. Ethan. Her voice cracked. Please let me explain. I exhaled sharply. Explain? What exactly would you like to explain, Jess? Her lip quivered. She looked wrecked. I wasn't. It's not what you think. I let out a bitter laugh. Not what I think. I saw you, Jess. In his arms. Looking at him like he was your world. Tears spilled down her cheeks. It was a mistake. A mistake. Who is he? My voice was ice. She hesitated. And that hesitation told me everything. His name was Daniel. A colleague. It had started as harmless flirting at work lunches. Late meetings. Small things. Until it wasn't small anymore. He listens to me, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I stared at her, my pulse roaring in my ears. And I realized she wasn't just confessing to last night. She was confessing to something deeper. Something I had been too blind to see. How long? A pause. A few months. My hands curled into fists under the table. You should have told me, I said finally. Instead of sneaking around.
Instead of my voice
Instead
broke
of my voice
raw with
broke
something
raw with
between
something
fury and
between
heartbreak.
fury and heartbreak.
I didn't
I
mean to
didn't
hurt
mean
you,
to
she
hurt you,
sobbed.
she sobbed.
But
But
you
you
did.
did.
The silence
The silence
between us was unbearable. I
I
didn't
didn't
shout.
shout.
Didn't throw
Didn't
anything.
throw anything.
That would have been easier
somehow.
Instead,
Instead,
I asked the only question that mattered.
Do
Do you love him? She shook her
She
head
shook her
quickly.
head quickly.
No.
Number I.
But then a flicker of doubt crossed her face. Just for a second. And that second destroyed me. I stood up, pushing my chair back with a screech. I need to go. Ethan, wait, she reached for me,
but I stepped back.
If it was just a mistake, you wouldn't have hesitated. I said quietly. Tears streamed down her face. I don't want to lose you.
I closed my eyes.
You already did.
I left.
I left. I drove aimlessly, the city a blur around me. 7 years.
7 years.
4 years
4
of
years
marriage.
of marriage.
And just like that, it was gone. I stopped at a park we used to visit when we first started dating. I sat on a bench staring at an old oak tree where we had carved our initials. For the first time in hours, I let myself feel it. The betrayal. The pain. The weight of everything
falling apart.
But beneath it all, something else stirred.
Relief.
Because I deserved more than hesitation. I pulled out my phone, stared at our last photo together, smiling, happy, oblivious. Then, with a deep breath, I deleted it. It was time to start over without her.